Woo!
All right. Supposedly we are the live. I'm waiting to see it show up on the thing, and then I will make the announcement. But
Yay!
We're live?
yep,
Live, you say?
we are indeed the live. So let me go.
Gasp.
And in person.
Yeah, live and in person. Let me go post the thing.
Hooray!
For any of you guys in here, if you want to be able to see the chat, there's the
Yeah.
live link. But yeah.
Oh my god, Cole.
Yep. So while we're I guess waiting for everybody to roll in. Oh,
why did you have to call me out?
Oh, don't worry. We're gonna be I've got all the call outs going. We're gonna be talking about Cole.
Oh my
god. But yeah, so we'll just kind of wait for some people to roll in. But how are you guys doing? How are you guys feeling? How's your day been?
Pretty okay.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad to hear that. How about you, Forrest?
It's on fire here now.
Oh, okay.
Slightly.
That's an improvement.
The dead.
How about you, Annika?
I'm okay. I'm tired though.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah, it's fair. All right. Well, I guess we should. We can probably go ahead and launch into it now. What is up, everybody? My name is Brian. I am the host of this here KRWBY Talk podcast.
Woo.
I voice Neptune in Ruby Burged, and I also play all of the goons in the Yellow trailer. And I'm also the head of the audio department here at KRWBY Productions. Hey,
Yay.
Forrest, what do you do here?
I talk about the animes on this show.
Yeah.
With all you guys. Hi.
Hell yeah, very important job. Katie, what do you do? Yeah. Who are you?
What? I'm a producer, directory girl person here at KRWBY. I'm also a voice actor and writer sometimes, and that's real neat. I love doing the things at KRWBY.
Hell yeah. Annika, who are you? What do you do?
Oh god, what do I do? Hi guys, I'm Annika. I work in HR. It's my job to make sure that nobody fights. I guess recently I became co-director of the abridged series, so now I'm a writer. Yay! And I've got my eyes on voicing Neo because everyone knows I have the best Neo impression.
Oh my god, Annika's Neo is kind of spot on. Can you do like a sample? Can you like
Sure.
Okay, everybody. Shh.
Holy fucking shit.
Amazing. Outstanding.
Amazing.
Oh my god. Like she nails it every take. Like every time I've tried to direct her for, some behind the scenes Neo stuff, she like kills it.
I'm blown away. It's impressive.
Absolutely impressive. Thank you so much. Hey, Cole, what do you do? What do you do?
Wow, that was a really good Neo impression, Cole.
Yeah, really good Neo impression, Cole.
Oh no, I have competition!
Uh-oh.
Cole's gonna voice everyone, including Neo now.
Yeah, so there's a story behind this.
Oh my god.
So Cole's actually not in the call. Cole's not on the podcast, but he was supposed to be. Because last night, he was like, yeah, I do want to be on the podcast. I'll just come in and like I'll just get caught up on ReZero. And I was like, don't you have like 9 episodes of ReZero to catch up on? He's like, yeah, but I'll make it work. Don't worry. And I was
also, I want to also add that he said, if I don't, you have free reign to roast me. Like,
yes. So we are now going to roast him. Now? So we are now going to roast him throughout the entirety of the podcast. So just be prepared for that. But yeah, so
those words.
So he says, yeah, no, like if I'm not there, then you can roast me. And so, yeah, he's not here. So in order to roast him, I had to make sure that he was on screen the entire time to prove that he did not, in fact, do his homework of watching ReZero like he said he would.
Like a good boy should do.
To be fair, that's a bit of an ask, but he did
I mean-
do it.
The funny thing is we did not ask him to. He was like, you know, I kind of want to watch it. I kind of want to like do it. And I was like, you don't have to do that. And he was like, no, I want to. And I was like,
Yeah, we were like, okay.
or you can if you want to, but again, that's a lot of anime to watch in a short amount of time. It's cool if you don't want to. No, fam. So that's why it's funny, and that's why it's okay that we roast him, because we didn't like try to force him to do anything.
Yeah.
And he wanted to be roasted.
And of all of the anime, like ReZero is not one of those animes you can just put on in the background and just kind of like, you know, check in occasionally. And yeah, they're still talking about, I don't know what they're talking about, but it doesn't really matter. It's not relevant to the plot. Like every minute of the show is like, oh God, what next?
Yeah, you need to be paying attention.
You gotta pay attention.
To emphasize that point, I am currently rewatching this week's episode. Like right now.
Hell yeah. Oh my God. Annika doing her homework late.
Yeah.
No. I've already finished it. I'm watching it a third time.
Oh dang.
She's
an honor student.
Yeah, see.
Incredible.
See, when Cole was like, yeah, I can't do it, I was like, okay, well, if Cole can't do it, who can bail us out? And I was like, Annika, because Annika's the best. And Annika is the honor student, obviously. So clearly, we don't need Cole. We've got Annika here now. So suck it, Cole.
Yeah, Cole. We love you so much.
It says it on my username. I have seen the first season of ReZero like 3 times. And by 3, I mean 5 to 6, maybe 7 times.
Annika is the champion of ReZero. Holy heck.
That's impressive.
Yeah, so, but yeah, Will, to, answer something that, I saw in the chat a little earlier, are we going to start with ReZero now? Oh, it's funny that you think that. No, of course not. We have a process here.
Have a process.
ReZero comes at the end because we save the dessert for last.
No, we save the meat for last. We start with the dessert because they came for ReZero. They came for steak and potatoes, and we're like, no, you will eat your cupcakes and hear what we want to talk about.
This is fair. Yes, we will force you into submission now. So
it's true.
Speaking of forcing into submission, I think it's time to get into our first segment, which is, of course, what are we watching? So hey guys, what you been watching? Who wants to go first and talk about
Annika, go first.
Well, that's not fair. Annika's never done this before. We should set a precedent for her.
Please.
I think Katie should go first because she just threw Annika under the bus like that.
I wasn't throwing her under the bus. I wanted to give her a
fair.
platform.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, if I must.
All right, Katie. What you been watching?
Well, more listening, really. I love listening to podcasts. So one podcast in particular that I've been listening to for a long time, and no chat, it's not a D&D one, actually, even though, yes, most of my podcast consuming is D&D. It is a storytime podcast, though. It is called Welcome to Night Vale. It is a podcast I enjoy very dearly. And the amazing voice actor Cecil Baldwin plays Cecil, who is a radio host that is essentially speaking as if the podcast is a radio show to this town called Night Vale, where interesting things happen. And he's just conveying the news, but in a very funny way, because the things that happen there are quite different and weird, but he talks about them as if they are normal. And his performance is really fun. And obviously it's like a scripted show, but it's so wonderfully done. And it's so bizarre, like the directions that they'll take it sometimes, because they have the performance crafted to be very like earnest and sincere, as if you were actually being taken into this radio show. Like you could like change the channel in your car and it would just be a radio show you'd be hearing of someone speaking, but it's all a performance because this town does not exist. Cecil, the character, does not actually exist, but it feels very real. And like sometimes it's actually a little jarring how some of the things that they'll be talking about, they'll relate it to real life issues, but in a fun, weird way. And yeah, I really recommend it. Each episode is about it can vary. Sometimes an episode's like 14 minutes long, sometimes they're 25 minutes long. They tend to stay towards the 20-25 area. But yeah, if you're ever driving and just want to go on iTunes and like listen to them in order, because like there's overarching plots, there's characters that come back, because Cecil isn't the only character, because sometimes he'll have other people on the radio show. And sometimes maybe the radio show will get hijacked, or things wacky shenanigans can happen. So yeah, it's fun, it's silly, it makes you think about things, but it's also like just a really interesting time, and it has a really fun fandom too. Follow the Twitter if anything. It won't spoil anything for you, but some of the stuff they tweet is hilarious. So yeah, welcome to Night Vale. 10 out of 10 recommend.
That sounds really cool.
That's a cool premise. I like it.
Yeah, I like it a lot.
The voice actors are really cool. Like, I love audio dramas and any, like audio heavy listening with really good voice actors. So it's a really good listen and really interesting, like, to learn how to do a show like that. It's really cool.
Mm-hmm. Hell yeah. Well, since you went and talked first, I think you get to choose who goes next, Katie.
Annika!
Why? Okay. Yes, I can do this. This is no problem. All right. So I guess let's see. Stuff I've been watching. I've been watching some older season stuff. I just finished It Invaded for I think the third time.
Oh my god. See,
oh wow,
you're
a rewatcher.
The honor student right here, like I said.
Oh my god.
Well, what happens is I like an anime so much, so I'm like, oh, I gotta show this to my friends, and then I just binge it with them, and then I like watch it with like all my friends, and I liked it. But yeah, so It Invaded. Let's see. The premise is kind of a spoiler for the first episode, so I don't really want to say anything too big. But I guess what I'll say is it's basically a mystery. That's kind of like. It's got a lot of Freudian concepts, so it's, everything has meaning. So every episode, they'll show you a lot of stuff that's generally very convoluted, and it's kind of the characters' jobs and our job as the audience to kind of pick apart the different meanings in it. It's very, very Inceptionist. So if anyone here likes the movie Inception, you'll probably like It Invaded. It's real fun.
Yeah, they've got some high concept stuff going on.
Yeah, a little complicated, but that's why I watched it 3 times, because I needed to.
I was gonna say, that's like, it's maybe the third, second watch, you start getting the gist of the plot, and by the third watch, you're like, maybe think you understand?
Yeah, basically.
Hell yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds like a great time. I've also seen like I think the first 2 episodes of It Invaded.
Yeah, you were friend number 4 I'm trying to show it to.
Yeah, I loved It Invaded. I finished that one as it was coming out. It's real good.
Real good.
Heck yeah.
Did I do good? Is that how you do it?
Yes, that's how you do it. Great job.
Do it.
You get to pick who goes next, Annika.
Have you gone yet, Brian?
I have not.
Gasp.
Then I choose Forest.
I choose Cole.
All right.
Just go, Cole, you're up next.
Yeah, Cole, what have you been watching, huh? You wanna tell us what you've been watching? I know what you should have been watching.
Did you watch season 2 yet, Cole?
Oh, I sense another Neo impression coming up. What tells me?
We should have added Cole to the group chat just to meme.
Yeah, right.
Brian, can I tell people Cole's reaction to the first episode of season 2? Because I'm pretty sure that's as far as he's gotten with me.
Sure, go ahead.
So Cole goes in with me to season 2, and I'll try to like keep spoilers on the download for people. Or wait. People are here for season 6, episode 6. So never mind. You guys all get spoilers.
Yeah.
So anyway, Karoosh loses her memories, and then she starts talking like the old Karoosh, and Cole's just like, oh my god, this is revolutionary. She's acting like a completely new person. And it's just like, no, Cole, she's saying stuff that she used to say. And he's like, oh, well, like, then isn't she like she? I was like, Cole, do you remember who Karoosh is? And he's like, yeah, she's that really mean lady who said mean stuff to Subaru. I'm like, I I don't think you remember who Karush is, Cole.
No.
So Cole needs to rewatch season 0 like 4 more times before he can start season 2.
Oh my god. Damn.
My nomination is for Forrest.
All right,
Oh.
Forrest, what you been watching?
Well, I guess I can go. I was gonna say you should probably go, Brian, because then you don't have to do your 2 bits back to back. But that's fine. Good luck with that. What have I been watching? Well, it's not something I've been watching. It's more like a thing I've been reading, which is kind of like watching, but like it still uses your eyeballs, you know.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
But
You're watching a book?
I've been watching a book. Yeah,
It's
page
like-
by page.
It's like
Watching a
it's like watching, but with extra steps.
Yeah.
You could have been listening.
It requires imagination.
Mhm.
It does require a little more imagination, yes.
Yes.
But yes, the book that I have most recently picked up, still haven't finished it. This is gonna be like a basic overview of the first couple chapters. It's Good Omens by Terry Pratchett and Neil Gaiman.
Ooh.
It is a comedy. It is a comedy take on the end of the world, sort of in like biblical terms, kind of thing. Yeah, there you go. With an angel and a demon sort of character who play off each other in a very they're a very funny duo. And it makes me wonder how much of the writer's own like stuff went into this, because it's written by a pair of writers, it's about a pair of people. I just wonder. It's very funny. So it's also exceedingly British, like really. I cannot stress to you how British this book is.
Unapologetically
I watched it on
British.
Netflix. When that happened on Netflix, it was really good.
Oh, yeah. No, I think there's a Netflix version. There's
Mhm.
yeah. So it's very British. It's very dense, admittedly. I think the first chapter was like a competition between the writers of like, okay, so let's try to put a joke into every other line of dialogue. And to their credit, they did it. But it's really just like, it's a lot. So it's very funny, very British. I haven't gotten very far into it. It's a very long book as well, but I'm working my way through it. And if you like British humor, and you don't mind going to the Wikipedia every couple of what the boot? What a bobby? What are we talking about? What are any of these things? Then it's for you.
Well, that sounds like a really, really great time.
No.
Yeah.
Frickin' books.
It's still watching, okay? You just watch the book. It counts. It counts.
Yep, you're watching a book. That's how it works.
That's how it works. All right, you're up next, Brian.
For your stuff, I just realized we should probably be saying where people can find this stuff. Annika, where can people watch it Invaded?
Funimation.com. They've got it all up on there.
Cool. Katie, where can people listen to that
iTunes
podcast?
and SoundCloud.
Hell yeah. Forrest, where can people find this book?
Your local library.
I mean,
So, the Netflix, there is a movie version if you like watching with pictures instead of
Awesome. Well, all right. I guess that means it's my turn. So I in all honesty, what I really want to talk about is Oregairu, because the you guys, the latest episode of Oregairu, oh my god! It has one of the best written scenes of anime I've ever seen in it, but I've already talked about Oregairu before, so I can't do that.
oh fuck.
So instead, I am talking about another, I guess, slice of life series that I watched a little bit ago called Kokoro Connect. And Katie, you and I need to watch this show.
Oh shit. Okay. Let's make it happen.
I freaking love Kokoro Connect. And the first
I
thing
really do.
that...
Nothing.
What was that?
I just said I know
You
you do.
throwing-
You talk about it.
You
Talk
throwing
about
shade?
it every day. I am.
No, I don't. When's the last time I talked about Kokoro Connect, Annika?
Last time it came up, which was last time we spoke.
What?
That's 100% not true.
Get dunked upon.
Wow.
I know about your Oregaeru love, and I know about your Kokoro Connect love, and I know about your Plastic Memories love, and I know about all your Nisekoi loves. I know it. I know it.
Nisekoi? Where the
Annika's
fuck is
roasted
Nisekoi
today.
coming from?
Sorry, I meant Arrow Manga Sensei.
Oh my god. No.
Oh my god.
I didn't know that bringing Annika on the podcast meant that I was gonna get roasted.
I mean,
I thought we were
just
roasting
roasting
Cole.
Cole, here.
Oh yeah, believe me, I got shade for days.
Now the first thing that you'll probably notice looking at this picture is you'll probably be like, oh man, this looks like a really great KyoAni series. Yeah, it's not KyoAni. I understand how you would think that because the art style looks almost identical to K-On, but it's not KyoAni. I believe it's Silverlink. So, yeah, there's that. But the core premise of Kokoro Connect is you've got these 5 kids in high school, and they have started up this club. That's basically a club for people without clubs. And so they're just like hanging out, enjoying their high school life, right? But then one day, all of a sudden, these supernatural phenomenons start happening to them. Like,
I love Haruhi.
I mean, you're not too far off.
Roasted.
I mean, in fairness, I kind of feel like Kokoro Connect is better than Haruhi, but
Oh, I
fucking,
gotta watch it now.
Whoa. That's a statement.
some fighting words there, but yeah. So these supernatural things start happening to them, like they'll start like swapping bodies with each other, and then that phenomenon will go on for a while, and then it'll shift to another phenomenon, like, say, they're able to hear, like, select thoughts randomly from other people in the group. So, basically, it becomes this really, like, introspective look into who these characters are and what they're about, because these phenomenon that they're undergoing kind of force everything to the surface. And the reason why I love this show is because it does what I crave out of pretty much every slice of life show that I watch, and it does it better than most I've seen, is it forces our anime characters, which are anime characters are notorious for not talking to each other. It forces these anime characters to face their feelings and actively talk on a regular basis about how they feel.
Blasphemy.
Revolutionary.
There's no way this is real. I don't believe you.
See, that's why I say we have to watch this, Katie, because know.
Okay, podcast is ending. We're watching.
Because I know how much you fucking simp for anime characters that talk about how they feel.
Bro. I do love Subaru.
So, yeah, I really, really enjoy that aspect of it. I love the fact that the show kind of forces these characters to kind of lay it all bare. And it doesn't hurt either that main girl there, the one up in the front of the picture, that's Inaba. She is my waifu.
Oh, heck.
And I don't say this very often, but shut the fuck up, Annika. Annika just has no time for me today. Jesus.
None of this.
100% maximum, no chill.
Oh
my
my
God.
god. No, I don't say this very often because like when I first got into anime fandom, I didn't really understand like the concept of like a person having an individual waifu. Like I definitely got like this whole like, oh, all these characters are attractive and like they're sexy and whatnot. And so, you know, they're like waifu material. Like I understood that, but I never really understood the whole like, no, this one character is my one true waifu. I never really understood that until I met Inaba.
Until I met
And then I was
Rent-A-Girlfriend
like,
Shizuhara.
and then I was like,
Okay.
and then I was
Taiga
like,
would have to differ.
all right, I get it now. And so, see, you bring up Chizuru, and I agree with you, Katie. Like, Chizuru is perfect. She ain't got nothing on Inaba.
Whoa, buddy.
Uh-oh.
Oh, them's fighting words.
She ain't got nothing on Inaba. You know why? Because
Why?
Chizuru is perfect in that, like, unrealistic expectation for women anime way.
Oh, shit.
Whereas, like, because, like, Chizuru, I think we can both agree, Chizuru in Rent-A-Girlfriend is, like, she's maybe a little more understanding than perhaps she should be sometimes.
Yeah.
She just, like, lets some things slide. See,
She's next level understanding, but, like, in terms of the way that she approaches a lot of stuff, there's a lot of realism with her character. I think arguably
I
one of
know,
the
I
only
agree.
characters that one of the only characters that has that. But yeah, we're not here to talk about Rent-A-Girlfriend, but Chizuru.
Oh my god.
But, yeah, no. So, here's another thing that I know you like, Katie.
Oh, fuck.
Don't you like confident anime girls that
Oh,
go
no.
after what they want?
Oh no, Brian. It's my type.
You'll fucking love Inaba, because that's why I love Inaba.
Shit. I'm dissent. I'm gonna dissent.
So, anyways, yeah, Kokoro Connect. Highly recommend it.
I forgot
I think
the words. That's how excited I was. I'm descending into madness.
I know the first season is on Crunchyroll. I think it's also on High Dive. This show is I feel like I really wanted to talk about this show as well because I feel like there's not as many people who are aware of this show. It's kind of old at this point. It was like summer of 2012 when Kokoro Connect came out, and also finding the ending can be a bit of a task because the main like 12 episode run didn't actually end the show. They had to end the show with, I believe, a 4 episode OVA. And so you kind of have to go hunting for all of that information, which I think is part of the reason why this show is maybe not as well known as I feel like it should be. But you can watch the 4 episode OVA on High Dive. So you will be able to close out the series there with that. And it's totally worth it. So if you are so inclined to talk or to meet some anime characters that actively talk about how they feel, then yeah, go watch Kokoro Connect. It's a good time.
Hell yeah.
Okay. Oh, Katie, there's a very important question in the chat that I need you to answer.
Oh shit. Oh shit.
Do you have?
I wish though.
Do you have a Subaru Dakimakura?
Real fucking talk. There's not any Subaru merch, or if there is, it's very rare because they like to fucking pimp out the girls. Which okay, whatever. They're real cute girls, but Subaru's real good, and I want him. And there's not much merch on him, and that's my story. I wish. I can't even draw. I mean, I guess realistically, if I had enough money, I could commission and all that stuff. But like, I don't know. Like, Subaru is definitely his Bondo material for me. But like, if I'm gonna get a Dakimakura, it's gonna be a Rock Lee. So, like, my loyalties still stand. Like, you have seasonal waifus and husbandos, and then you have for life waifus and husbandos, and Lee's in it for the long haul.
Damn straight. That's what Inaba
Damn
is.
straight. Damn straight.
All right. Well, I think it's time to move into the next segment.
Oh fuck.
I
Boy,
think it's time to talk
we
about
ready?
what the hell happened in SAO this week.
God.
Now,
Can we just all raise like a hand to the air
Mhm.
to have the gods bless this, because this will be your last time.
yeah, it'll be the last time. This is the last one we're doing because this is the last episode of War of Underworld.
Oh no, I feel so honored. I'm here
Mhm.
to witness this glory.
Yes.
You're gonna be so lost.
Hey, I'm excited.
It's gonna be a great time.
Are you ready, Cole?
Would I be lost even if I had watched it? Let's be real.
Yes.
Oh my
don't
god,
think so.
Annika,
Yes,
you have
you
no
would.
clue.
You have no idea what this final episode is about to entail. I wasn't ready.
Okay, actually, Brian, before you even say, Annika, have you watched any of Sword Art Online this season?
No.
Okay, then Annika, real quick. I just want you to give me one prediction. I want you to try to describe to me what you think Sword Art Online did.
Was Kirito a badass?
Yeah, but I want you to get specific. Say something weirdly specific
Okay.
that
A
you
girl-
think could never happen.
What?
What do
Like
you
something
think? What do you think would never happen in Sword Art Online?
Kirito losing?
You're talking more conceptual, but okay,
Yeah.
sure. Okay.
Not sure what you want from me. I'm sorry, guys.
Kirito
No,
died.
You're
That's the
good.
thing that would never happen.
You're good.
So, we have a few more viewers here than usual, so I figure for the last time I will go in and kind of give the rundown of what the segment is and what I do.
Well, first we have to go to our commercial break, because since this is such a coveted experience, we have all these viewers here. We just, we have to promote some KRWBY news real quick, right before we get into the meat.
Sure, go ahead.
If that's all right,
Okay.
Brian.
Go ahead.
Yes.
commercial.
So this episode is sponsored by KRWBY. Duh. Speaking of
How
KRWBY,
could you tell?
tomorrow actually, because today is Sunday and tomorrow is Monday. Tomorrow at 6 CST, 7 EST, KRWBY Productions, blah blah blah. KRWBY Productions, featuring myself, Tina Mickle, and Steven. We are going to be hosting a panel officially for RTX at Home in the gaming server, in the Rooster Teeth Gaming Community server, and we would love if all of you could attend. We're going to be talking about what we do here at KRWBY Productions, and I really wanted to advertise this on the podcast at a prime time, and
Agreed.
so I was just, because we'd really love if you guys came and support. It was a really awesome opportunity that we were given to be able to do that, and we'd love to see people there and support the server. And it'll be really great. And we'll talk about all the cool stuff. So yes, back to you, Brian.
Yeah, and and by the way, that if you haven't come from our community Discord, that is the reason why this podcast is airing right now on Sunday rather than Monday, because normally it airs on Monday, but it was going to conflict with the panel time, so we moved it.
Yes.
Just this once. So, yeah. All right. To explain what the hell happened in SAO this week. So this is a segment that I've been doing for several weeks now, where I have been recapping SAO. I first recapped all of the first two seasons. I recapped the first season of Alicization, and I recapped everything all the way up to where the show currently is in Sword Art Online Alicization War of Underworld Part 2, and ever since then, I have been recapping the episodes week by week, because shit has gotten wild. The show has gone so far off the rails, and just have to talk about it and make fun of it every week. So, that's what the segment is, and it's mainly me ranting in a funny voice and screaming at the top of my lungs about how ridiculous this show is. So,
We've come to expect.
Yep. So, but this is the last episode, so it's the final one of these that I'm going to be doing. So, without further ado, I think we should get into it. Are you guys ready?
Of course.
Strap in.
All right. Here we go. Well, it's that time again, my friends. And I am sad to inform you that it will be the last time that it will be that time again. Because today, I'm talking about the final episode of Sword Art Online Alicization War of Underworld Part 2. I'm talking about episode 23, New World. So, for the final time, we ask that oh-so-important question. What the hell happened in Sword Art Online this week? Let's find out. Kirito is awoken from his Kirito is awoken from his slumber by a call from Ringo, and she's very concerned because Alice has disappeared, and no one has any idea where she is. This seems a little strange given that Alice's robot body is probably the most advanced piece of technology ever created, second only to the Underworld itself, and to which a suitable replacement probably does not yet exist. So you have to wonder why the fuck they didn't put a tracking device in it? Maybe because human rights and junk, but she doesn't have those yet. They're still working on that. Plus, it seems like she doesn't have all that much freedom to begin with at the moment, considering what we learn next. So yeah, seems like no tracking device is yet another major oversight from what's supposedly the world's most advanced tech company. But upon hearing of the disappearance of Alice Synthesis 30, Kirito rushes to the front door so as to immediately help with the search, only to be met by a delivery man delivering a large package from Wrath. Kirito is confused, but he signs for it. The delivery man leaves, and Kirito begins to open the box. Now, it was around this time that when Katie and I were watching the episode together, we were joking, oh man, wouldn't it be hilarious if Alice was just in the box? Well, see, the funny thing about that was Alice was in the fucking box! And just so you know that I'm not making this shit up, I have a picture of this. Do you see this shit? Do you see this fucking shit? There she is, in the box, surrounded by bubble packing, and also she's naked for some reason. Apparently she got lonely, and the Wrath people wouldn't let her leave to go see Kirito, so this was her solution. To become a mail-in waifu. How? Please explain this to me, Alice. Walk me through step by step how this was the conclusion that you came to. Was it like, okay, step 1. Remove my clothes. It is imperative that I be butt naked to achieve optimal travel comfort. Also, as I'm currently trying to steal Kirito from Asuna, when he opens the box, it'll be like he's opening me as an erotic present, maximizing target horny. Step 2. Using the box, I Metal Gear Solid my way to the delivery plant. Still in the nude so as to make a getaway. Step 3. Incapacitate the man running the computer, place a shipping order for myself to Kirito's house, and choose same-day shipping, because those fucks at Wrath wouldn't let me see Kirito on my own, so damn straight they're going to be paying an extra $80 to ship me. Step 4. Run down and throw the box on the conveyor belt, get in the box, let the machine package me up, and then I rejoice in my cardboard temple of freedom. Is that how it happened, Alice? Because I very much hope that's how it went down.
Jesus Christ.
Anyways, after being helped out of the box, Alice puts on her school uniform, which it isn't entirely clear where she got. She then laments to Kirito that she misses the underworld and feels like she doesn't belong in the real world. However, this issue is resolved literally a scene later when Kirito takes her to his family dojo and Alice goes, wait, I can wield the sword in this world too? Oh, never mind, I can totally live here then. Then there's a scene with Kirito's parents and we meet his dad for the first time, and Kirito decides that he no longer wants to move to the US, which is probably a good choice all things considered, and instead he wants to study in Japan so that he can go to work for Wrath. Kirito also lets Ringo know that Alice is safe with him, and Alice is given permission to spend the night at Kirito's place because of course she is. And naturally, Alice comes to visit Kirito in his room in the middle of the night, wearing a shirt and no pants. This is due to the fact that some mysterious person sent them the IP address of the Underworld, and she needed to let Kirito know about it immediately. So now they can return to the Underworld. Why could they not return to the Underworld before? Or perhaps more importantly, why did Wrath not have the IP address of the Underworld already? I wish I knew, but apparently they didn't. Also, this time Kirito wants to bring Asuna along, which I'm all for. God knows that girl has been sidelined long enough. She's Kirito's main girl. She should be in the show more. However, Alice isn't super big on this idea, of course, because she views Asuna as competition. As she should, considering that Asuna is better. But she begrudgingly agrees to let Asuna tag along on the grounds that Asuna's super powerful and they'll need all the help they can get. Apparently. I don't know why they assume returning to the Underworld will involve fighting, but I guess they are. So Kirito and Alice go to the Wrath headquarters and give the IP address to Ringo, and just before they log in, they stop for a moment to ponder what might be different about the Underworld since 200 years have passed, to which they come to the conclusion that it can't have changed that much. Now, 2 episodes ago, here on this podcast, we were postulating as to what the next season of SAO would be about, considering that Alicization got so wild and crazy that we had no idea where they could possibly go from here. And our very own Katie jokingly threw out, "We're gonna get people from fucking space." It was a very funny joke, and we riffed on it for a while, but it didn't prepare me for what came next.
Oh, no.
Kirito, Asuna, and Alice log into the Underworld and spawn in the middle of fucking space! They spawn in the middle of space and get a top-down view of the planet, which is now known as Star World, and then some fucking Star Wars-esque space jet fighter things show up, piloted by 2 girls that look suspiciously like Kirito and Yujio's old disciples, and they fight a giant space monster! I couldn't make this shit up if I tried. This show isn't Sword Art Online anymore. It's Sword Art in space. And of course the space fighter things are having trouble, so Kirito and Asuna and Alice use their swords to defeat the giant space monster. It's hinted that there's some sort of religion based around Alice. They fly off towards the planet, and then the credits roll! That's where this story ends! I'm at a loss for words, folks. Never in a million years did I think this show would go so far off the rails that we would get Space Kirito. But here we are! So after the credits, we get a Star Wars-esque text scroll announcing that the next arc will be called InterIntelligence War. Then we see Niemon dead at the bottom of the ocean, connected to what I would assume to be some kind of internet cable, heavily implying Kayaba's hand in all this. We then see a Fluctlight cube come to life within Wrath headquarters, and we're left with a promise to the fans that Kirito will return.
More like a threat.
And with that, not only does SAO Alicization War of Underworld Part 2 draw to a close, but it also marks the end of the entire 2-season-long Alicization arc. And what a wild ride it was. Sword Art Online Alicization was one of the most absurd things I've ever watched, and I enjoyed every last second of it. I appreciate you going on this journey with me over the past several weeks. It's had its ups and downs, it's been fun, and there's been a lot of screaming. But I think it's finally time to say goodbye. Because for better or worse, after it's all said and done, I think we can definitively say that we have indeed answered that age-old question. What the hell happened in Sword Art Online? Thank you.
F in the chat for Brian.
Thank you for your service, Brian.
Thank you for your service. Thank you. This is the end of a legend.
Thank you for your sacrifice.
For your sacrifice, for your many holy sacrifices every week.
Done it.
Man.
You've done the impossible.
Beautiful.
I never in a million years expected them to go to space, guys.
Oh my god.
Is that what you were trying to get me to say, Katie?
Conclusion.
A little bit.
They go. Look, okay. If Jason Voorhees goes to space, if Call of Duty goes to space, if Mario can go to space, clearly Kirito can do it too.
Well, I guess I would classify it more as like Sword Space Online, because they are still online. They're not in real space.
It's true. They're not in real space.
It's fake space, but it's space.
And there will still probably be laser swords.
Of course.
Probably.
Props.
Because, I mean, is Kirito gonna wield a gun now? I mean, come on.
I mean, he had the opportunity to in Gun Gale, and he didn't.
Yeah, he's good. He's like, nah.
Space sword, definitely space sword.
Sword to a gunfight.
Now, here's the thing that's kind of shitty, right? Is there is more SAO coming, but it is not it's not going to be the next arc. We're gonna have to wait on Kirito in space, which I'm super bummed about. Because I desperately want to see Kirito in space.
I want it.
But yeah, so they have confirmed that the next thing that they're going to be adapting is actually the Sword Art Online progressive novels. Which, for anybody who doesn't know, the Sword Art Online progressive novels are a retelling of the Aincrad arc with no time skips. That's my understanding of what progressive is. And they've also changed certain details because there were, I guess, certain things that Reki Kawahara was unhappy with, how they transpired in the original version. So, yeah, it's basically like an alternate retelling, like more detailed retelling of Aincrad. And so I think, it'll be interesting to see that get adapted, because, I mean, Aincrad, I think, still remains most everybody's favorite arc because that's when the show's stakes were at their highest. I don't think the show was ever really able to fully recover from losing the whole if you die in the game, you die in real life mechanic. So going back to that, I suppose, might be interesting, but at the same time, I also kind of wonder how well it'll do based on the fact that people already know the outcome. People already know how the story of Aincrad ends. So, but I'm sure any hardcore SAO fans will be super about it because it'll just be an excuse to see more Kirito.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that the arc that ends 25 floors before they fight the final boss?
Yep.
Right. Okay.
Yep.
Just checking.
That's the one.
Hey, maybe they'll show that. Maybe some other people stayed to fight the final boss. I don't know. Maybe they'll retcon it. Who knows?
Yeah, I don't know what all happens in or what's different per se in progressive, but yep, that's what we're getting next. So I guess we have that to look forward to. But yeah.
You say that with such conviction.
So anyways, I think it is now time to move into the meat and potatoes.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's time to talk about ReZero.
And also to answer your question, Metal Rogan, yes, I have watched God of High School.
At some point, we need to have like a revisit discussion on God of High School.
Holy shit! Yeah.
Has it gotten more? That's the insane one, right? Where like you can't tell if people just have magic powers or that's just like how the world is.
It's a lot.
Yep.
Oh my god.
It's insane.
Okay.
So, all right. Yeah, ReZero. So, before we launch into today's episode, Annika, you just did a little bit of binging.
Oh yeah, I binge a lot.
Yeah. You just watched all the last 4 episodes in one go.
Yep.
How was that? What were your
You know,
impressions? What were your thoughts?
I really kind of like it in binge format because it really allows me to kind of take it all in at once, and I kind of feel like the stuff that they reveal bit by bit by bit, I would hate doing that on a weekly basis. I finished the
It's
last
rough
episode.
sometimes.
I finished the last episode. I was just like, man, if this was the episode I got after waiting a week, I'd be so mad. So I'm really actually excited for it all to come out and to binge all of it because there's a lot of stuff that's been happening that really just feels like, oh, if that's the case, then I need to go back and watch and see what their reaction was, 2 Subaru lives ago.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm really excited to do a rewatch once I've got the whole show in front of me.
Same.
Mhm.
I'm very much looking forward to that. Obviously, we say it every time. It's the title of the episode, so it feels like it should be self-explanatory, but we're gonna say it anyways. Spoilers for ReZero.
Major
Ye-
spoilers.
Specifically
All-
ReZero Season 2, Episode 11. If you haven't seen the latest episode, be warned. But yeah, so as far as this latest episode is concerned, we can kind of as we go along, I feel like we can kind of talk about it more. But I've been kind of pondering this episode a lot because this is the first episode in this season thus far where I've been like, yeah, I kind of wasn't super happy with this. Like, I wasn't super big on this episode. And sorry, you got something?
Oh,
Annika?
I guess I was just gonna say since I did this in binge format, I do recall feeling that towards the end of last episode and then the entirety of this, like I was really on board. I was like, okay, I've got it. Keep it coming, keep it going. And then at the last little bit of the last episode, I was like, wait, what's going on? And then this episode, it was more of that. I'm just like, what? That being said, there was a lot of stuff I think I do have guesses on, but they're all guesses, so I kind of feel the same way, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, because I feel like
Yeah, this was definitely a big left turn.
Yeah, like I feel like there's just been this thing, especially like you said, Annika, like in the last like episode or so, where but even before then, right? Like there's been stuff that has happened where I'm like, boy, that I don't understand what happened there. I'd really love it if they explained that. And they've been doing the the standard thing where it's like they'll answer one question, give you 5 more. But this last episode was such a hard left turn that I've kind of now reached this place where I'm like, okay, like I only have so much like good faith and I only have so much patience like before I really need you to start telling me what the fuck is going on.
Yeah, well, this show, like the way the plot has been paced, is a little weird because the whole first season, I feel like, is very much like the spoon feeding kind of Attack on Titan style, where it's just like some stuff is happening, you don't really know what's going on, and they sort of drip feed you important plot points. Like, oh yeah, there's something about like this witch, and that has something to do with stuff, but like, let's go into the 3 episodes without bringing that up again, And then this season has just been like plot exposition, like just dumping, not necessarily answers to questions, but just piling on more questions. And it's only gotten more intense in the last couple of episodes to the point where it's maybe a little overwhelming.
Yeah.
Well,
Agreed.
I do feel like most of the questions that I have, I have questions about, I definitely feel like they were just posed in the last episode, last 2 episodes. So I still do have faith that they're going to answer them, but I
Yes.
totally understand. This was the first episode where I felt like, wow, I I really don't know what's going on.
Mhm.
What's going on, guys?
And they're really good about consistently, like, subverting expectations and delivering. And so even though this is kind of yeah, I kind of agree with Annika. This is the first episode that I have been this thoroughly confused, because I've been like confused before, a little bit, like, oh, I wonder what they're gonna do here. But like within reason, this episode went so off the walls that honestly, if it was any other show, I'd get nervous. But I'm actually genuinely excited because I think ReZero is the type of show that could give us a cathartic something for what they just did. I don't know what. I'm just here just like you guys are, but like I'm looking forward to how they explain this, because I think they will.
Yeah, like what one of the major questions that I still have is like what the hell is going on with like Subaru being teleported rather than respawning? Because
Mhm.
that's happened
Oh, yeah.
twice.
Yeah.
Like-
Well, so
When was
the
the first
last
time?
time it happened,
Mhm.
sorry, the last time it happened, it was like it seemed like maybe he'd been transported because it was snowing all of a sudden, right? So I don't know about you, like when he got eaten by the rabbit. I think
Yeah,
was that
yeah.
episode, like the first time he got eaten by the rabbit.
How was he teleported again in that first time? Do you remember?
I don't know. That's
Yeah,
the
we
thing. I
don't
don't
know
know.
how it happened. He was
Well, no,
thrown
like
through the
what happened right before he was teleported? I mean,
Garth was going crazy killing villagers, and then he got knocked out, and his body got flung.
Yeah, we're assuming his
Right.
body got flung out of the barrier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, and my assumption was, okay, it's snowing. Everything is like the village is kind of in a more ruined state than it was before. Like, how long has he been out? Right? Like, it seems like it was months or longer.
No.
Right? And I don't think now that we know, oh, Roswell can just make it snow, and apparently that's a thing that he does for reasons I'm sure we'll get into. It's like, okay, so maybe that wasn't super far into the future. Maybe it was just, a day or two or something like that. But we still don't have any explanation of the whole teleporting thing.
Yeah. And and I will say, like, I'm now I really hope that, like you said, Katie, like they have a good payoff for it. But I'm starting to get really tired of the whole I can't say anything because I made a vow. Because
That's fair.
That plot armor of, oh, I can't explain that. That would
yeah, because it really, like, at the moment it's really kind of coming off to me as just like a convenient like plot contrivance so that like not everything can be be revealed right here and now.
Yeah.
part. I mean, are you talking specifically about like Rosewall or Beatrice?
Yeah, both like Rosewall and Beatrice. I mean, thankfully, like, and Frederica.
Yeah, that's true. We don't know her motivations, or even if she's working for who she's working for necessarily.
Yeah.
Like we had speculation that maybe it wasn't Rosewall.
Yeah. So, that's definitely a thing. But yeah, so I guess to kind of dig into the meat and potatoes of the episode. So, Frederica, Rem, and Petra all leave for the village at Subaru's request because he's trying to keep them safe. And then Subaru confronts Beatrice. And Beatrice's book, we quickly discover, is blank. It used to show her future. It does not anymore. We learned that Beatrice is contracted to Echidna. She's supposed to guard the Forbidden Library and wait for the day when, quote-unquote, that person showed up.
Which is that question Subaru was supposed to pose to her, right? Or he's supposed to say, I am that person.
Right.
And so that answers a few of the questions we've had from previous episodes, at least, right? What is the question that, he's going to ask, and does she work for Echidna? Yes.
Yeah. And so Beatrice apparently wants to die because that will bring about an end to her contract because
She's 400 years old at this point.
Yeah, she's been in the library for 400 years. And I do have to wonder kind of exactly what Rosewall. I mean, I guess now that I think about it, he does sort of answer it towards the end of the episode. Like, he knows that Beatrice wants to die.
Mhm.
And obviously Subaru is not a fan of that idea.
Mhm.
But yeah, there was she's angry that, you know, she's had to wait for 400 years. And if her destiny isn't to die, then this whole exchange, I'm gonna need to like go back and watch it, I think, multiple times to like really get, I think, a proper handle on it, because there was definitely some stuff in there that was sort of, I think, a little confusing and hard to follow. But it seems that there was once a time where Beatrice had hopes that whoever would be that person could come in and, you know, steal her away. She wouldn't have to die, you know, then, you know, they could wipe her contract clean, and then you know, they would put her first.
Mhm.
And she basically expresses that to Subaru, saying like, you know, are you gonna do that for me? Like, I don't think you are.
Kill me.
And
It's almost kind of like a love confession is kind of how I took that scene.
yeah, and that's kind of what sort of, and that's kind of the thing that I guess confused me a bit, because I definitely don't feel like it makes sense. Like, I definitely feel like Beatrice has like had feelings for Subaru all along. We've seen her tsundere side again and again and again, where, you know, she's not at all honest about, you know, the fact that she cares for this boy.
Mhm.
But yeah, like, it did. Sorry, go. Were you gonna say something, Annika? Sorry.
Yeah, finish your thought first, though.
Yeah, it did come off as something of a love confession, and I guess there's a part of me that's debating how necessary that was. I guess
I mean,
that's where I'm
it
at.
wasn't a real love confession, but I think it came off as one.
Yeah, it's like an
Mhm.
alternate interpretation, maybe.
Yeah. To be honest, I guess my biggest confusion with this whole scene was where is this coming from? Was really my confusion. Like, why now is Beatrice talking about, you know, this gospel and this dying and all that? Like, where was this in the first season? This I don't. It just doesn't feel like anything's led up to this. She just suddenly is
Yeah.
suicidal and depressed, and I was just like, what why? What so I figured something must have spurred this on, but I'm not really sure what.
Mhm. Are we gonna get, like, a reverse development thing where they're gonna, like, explain it after she's gone?
Mhm.
Like
Well, I think,
mhm.
I mean, I guess I wasn't so much as confused about that, because I feel like Beatrice, especially with how tsundere she is, like, I feel like over the course of 400 years, Beatrice has gotten pretty good about hiding her true feelings. So
S-
I
So
don't
I'm wonder. Oh,
I
you
don't
first.
necessarily think that, like, I guess, like, if I were in her shoes and I were stuck in this library for 400 years waiting for some person to set me free that never shows up, I would probably fall into pretty deep despair too.
Mm.
I'm wondering if the loss of Petal Geese is what's spurring this suddenly
Oh,
new Beatrice.
Mhm.
Like,
that's
once she
true. That
noticed
is
he
the
was
first
gone,
time.
she's been completely different.
True.
Yeah. So,
Interesting. Yeah,
Because
that's
she's just been,
mhm.
she's felt like a very different. Because again, I've seen season 1 like 5 times. She's really felt like a different character this season. So I'm wondering if it's that
Mhm.
loss of a loved one that's just completely ruining her.
Yeah, I wish they would have gone a
Hmm.
little bit more into detail about their relationship
Well, I'm
there,
sure they will
give it
soon.
something. Maybe, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That doesn't sound like something that they would, pass over and pretend this
Oh,
didn't
yeah.
happen. They're gonna want to go into that.
Yeah.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
show doesn't skip over a lot of. There's not a lot of loose ends.
Yeah.
I mean,
Mm-mm.
there are a
Mhm.
lot of loose ends, but they get tied off with enough
Yeah.
regularity that it makes me
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
that what we see as loose ends aren't actually.
Yeah, definitely.
I did. I went back to some of the earlier episodes today to try and see if maybe because like she's got this gospel now that we've never seen or heard of in the first season. So I went back to like some of the earlier scenes to see if maybe it was a little foreshadowed. Like
Mhm.
if it's just in the background or something and we don't know what it is yet. I don't think it is. I don't think there was any foreshadowing of that. I didn't watch all of the scenes with Beatrice in it from season 1, but
Mhm.
enough of the earlier ones that
Yeah, I
she's
was
holding a
confused
book here
about
and there,
that
but it's
too.
a different book.
Mhm.
Like I even messaged Brian. I was just like, "But didn't Subaru give her the gospel?" So apparently it's a different book. So
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't think.
Yeah.
yeah, I'm also kind of confused. Where did this gospel thing come from?
Wait. Did he
Well
give her the
well,
gospel?
no, it wasn't a gospel, it was 2 copies that only exist in the world that Rose Wall and her have of this book
Yeah.
that tells the truth. It's not a gospel.
Yeah, because Subaru came
That's
in with the
what.
gospel that he got off of Beetlejuice.
Yes. Did he leave that with her?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure
Um,
he did because didn't she like grab it and then blast him out of the room?
yeah.
No, I think he had taken hers, like, in that moment and, like, "What is this?" And then she was like, "No!" I think that's my memory
No,
of
that's a
it.
different scene.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I thought they were referencing that scene. Okay.
Because it makes me wonder if he. We haven't. Since the book isn't foreshadowed, as far as I can tell, since it's not really referenced, and you were saying she seems like a different character, is it possible that that character shift happened after he brought the book to her library? She
Yeah,
is, after all, a
when
librarian. She's going to read her,
Mm.
she's going to read the book, and maybe in so doing, that changed her character.
Well,
that's what
it's
I'm
Maybe she
thinking.
wasn't
it.
following the gospel before that, but now she is.
Well, no,
Yeah.
I think she's always been a member of the witches cult, or it has been
Well,
involved with the witches.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah, well,
the
the whole library thing being part of
Mhm.
Echidna's collection of knowledge, sort of. Yeah,
Right.
I would agree with that.
Mhm.
But
So,
But I mean, when we are first introduced to Beatrice in the show, she felt very Beatrice-y until she saw the gospel and realized that Petal Geese was dead. And then she had her giant, temper tantrum and really confused Subaru. And then ever since, she's been different.
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, so they'll probably go into more of
I'm
her
excited to
changes,
learn more
yeah.
about Beatrice.
Oh,
Beatrice,
definitely.
best girl.
Yeah. She's a great girl.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's a whole. So anyways, yeah, that scene was, I guess, kind of confusing to me a bit. And then
Mhm.
uh freaking see,
Elsa?
yeah, if she did, I'm sorry, I'm reading my notes right
oh,
now.
Hunter.
Um uh there's a so yeah, kind of, I guess, to cap out the thing with Beatrice, Subaru is asking, like, why does it have to be me? And she responds with, why, I suppose. I know why. The reason I entrust my end to you is, and then she's interrupted by Elsa. So
That sounds
she
like a
could have,
love confession.
yeah, sounds like a love confession to me.
Mhm.
But yeah, so Elsa shows up and she's like, I'll be that person for you.
Yep.
And
I'll kill you. That sounds like fun. I've never seen the inside of a spirit before.
yeah.
Mhm.
So, and apparently Elsa got in by leaving all of the doors in the mansion open.
Yeah, that was funny.
Yeah.
I mean, if that works, that's.
If it
Yep, if
works,
it
I
works,
mean,
it
shoot.
works.
Well, I'm really curious how Elsa knew that Beatrice was in the building, or
Yeah.
because she
I
Sure.
mean,
said
she
that
mentions
she's
having targets, right?
Well, yeah, she's
yeah,
got targets. So,
She
I
was
mean,
probably
this is,
told that.
yeah, I mean, and we've seen in previous lives that, like, Elsa shows up basically the moment Subaru enters the mansion. So
Right,
that's
right.
right. So and she's there specifically to kill everybody, and we know that Beatrice is one of the targets. So clearly she knows about Beatrice.
Okay, so she probably had knowledge
Mhm.
of Beatrice and figured out her door magic.
Yeah, it probably came from whoever her client is, most likely.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. That makes sense.
So basically, our lad has until she opens all of the doors in the manor to get back and rescue Beatrice, which apparently takes like a day
he
or
can
two.
he can also just like go around closing doors.
Wording
Just
her
like
plans.
yeah, just like run around in circles like she's on the other side of the mansion opening doors and he's on the other side of the mansion closing the doors that she's already opened.
Oh God, we need a Scooby-Doo montage of that, please.
Oh my God, yeah.
I'm pretty sure if Subaru and Elsa are on the same plane of existence, she would find him and kill him.
Yeah, probably.
And then she could open all the doors.
He would just be a speed bump on the way.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, Elsa alludes that she sent someone else to deal with Frederica and Petra in the village. Speaking
spoilers, it's the little girl.
Yeah, speaking of Petra,
girl from the
speaking of Petra,
season.
by the way, Annika, you're with me on this, right?
Talking about the date they're gonna go on. I'm so excited. It's so cute.
Oh my God.
See, thank you. This is why we're friends, Annika. I knew I could count on you.
It's so wholesome and innocent. And just
It's
Subaru's
so
just adorable.
adorable.
Subaru's just all like, yeah, sure, let's do it, kid. It's so adorable. I'm
God.
excited.
So cute.
You
now
hear
she's
that,
dead.
Forrest? You hear that, Forrest? It's
I hear
adorable.
that. Hey, the jury for me is very much still out on that. It could be a wholesome thing. I don't know. I gotta see more. And we're not gonna see more this arc because she did.
Yup,
She did.
Damn. Yup.
So, so they escape from Elsa. Hang on one second.
No, go ahead.
And so they escape from Elsa. And I also love the bit where like Subaru's about to use Shamrock, but like Beatrice beats him to the punch.
That's actually important. I want to point that out.
Yeah.
Because
go ahead.
one of the things that Beatrice says that's actually really important because it was a big plot point in season 1 is she says, "You are naive for thinking that shadow magic can't be used offensively." Season 1 drilled it in Subaru's head that shadow magic was always just a debuff.
Yeah.
So Beatrice just taught him that he can use offensive spells with shadow magic. So I'm hoping that's going to become a thing.
She did the thing like Amelia's always doing with her ice. She just like made crystals of dark magic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for Subaru to learn that.
Yeah. So
that's his next trick.
Yes.
For my next trick, I will become slightly less useless.
Hooray!
That would be amazing. It's about time.
I love how like passionately Subaru was about to scream Shamrock and then Beatrice like Shamrock.
Yeah, Shamrock.
So good.
But yeah, so Subaru and Beatrice head for the village in hopes of saving everyone, but they're met with the purple-haired girl from season 1 that disappeared, and her name is Melee Portrout, excuse me, and she's a Maw Beast user. Melee claims to have killed both Frederica and Petra, and we also see smoke rising from the village, which kind of implies that the entire village is dead.
Yeah.
That seems like her MO.
Yeah. Elsa shows up, but Beatrice puts up a fight, and Beatrice seemingly utterly obliterates Elsa.
That was so hot. I mean,
she crystallizes her, she breaks her into pieces. Dead, right? Very out of the picture. Nope.
Yeah, Beatrice then turns her attention to Melee, but Subaru stops her, saying he doesn't want her to kill a kid, and this distraction costs them dearly, because somehow Elsa survived, which I'd really like an explanation on that as well.
Yeah.
And manages to stab Beatrice.
Mm-hmm.
And seeing a spirit die is a thing.
Yeah.
It's quite a light show.
They turn into light particle effects, it seems like.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
tentacles.
Yes.
Light tentacles.
Yep.
Tendrils, perhaps.
So I actually
Quite
think it's
interesting.
important that she didn't die, because I think that means that she basically used a Naruto shadow clone jutsu.
That
Where,
seems
you know,
likely.
She replaced herself with a tree log at the last second.
Yeah.
Clearly. But I think that's important for Subaru to have witnessed, because I'm sure in his next life he probably gonna warn someone about that, like he did with the Reinhard when he was like, "Hey, she's got 2 knives, my boy."
Yeah.
Now it's like, "Hey, she might not be dead."
Not dead yet.
Not yet.
Yeah.
So,
Well, yeah, it's unfortunate that he didn't see how she did that, because I mean, now he can predict that it's going to happen, but he can't prevent it from happening yet.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Beatrice starts to die. Subaru is clobbered. And then Elsa's like, "I don't like the look in your eye," and then just stabs him in the eye.
His eye. Yeah. Fuck.
And
She's a sadistic.
How much were you fucking squealing with all of Elsa's desoirs, Annika?
Not as much this episode. I was definitely screaming the first time she showed up. This one, she was pure just sadist mode, and I was a little uncomfortable. But
Yeah.
I still do love Elsa very dearly. Beautiful.
But yeah, so Meili asks if Elsa has any pity towards Subaru whatsoever. And Elsa responds with something kind of interesting. She says, "It's the spirit that I pity. Imagine being sacrificed for a boy like him." Which seems to imply that the reason why they're killing everybody in the mansion revolves somehow around Subaru.
Oh, that's not how I took that line at all.
Oh?
I took that line of just like, "Oh, I'm so excited to have this big fight with this great spirit," because we know that Elsa likes to fight, because when Reinhard showed up in season 1, she was like, "Oh my god, a master swordsman!" So I think she was like
she
super
kind of has the death wish, yeah.
Yeah, she's super excited to fight. She likes being challenged. So I think what she meant there was just like, man, I got to kill this great spirit. I was robbed the ability to have a fair fight because I saw an opening, because she sacrificed herself pushing him away. Like, literally, he just ruined her ability to fight me because she was trying to sacrifice herself for this dumb boy.
Yeah, that's kind of like I got the same impression. Like, in the moment, she gave her life to save him, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Right? And in the end, like her last, the last thing she does is she teleports him away. Or at least he teleports. I think it might be connected to. I think she teleports him. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
She reaches out to him, right? And then it happens.
Yeah, she reaches out to him, and then he's suddenly transported to the dungeon where he was held. His eye is still fucked. Yeah, his eye is still fucked, so clearly he hasn't, respawned.
Yeah.
Well, actually, no, it's not a weird place to put him, because if she's an apostle of Echidna, that dungeon seems to be a special place for Echidna.
Well, that dungeon is right outside where the elf girl is in stasis, right?
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah, okay, so it's close to... Oh, remind me of her name? Starts with an R.
Ryuzu. Yeah, Ryuzu.
Okay. Ryuzu, yeah.
And
it's in the sanctuary, so I guess that's just the place she thought he'd be safest by putting him back in the sanctuary. I think she teleported him to try to save his life.
Yeah, I suppose that's fair. I mean, don't exactly have good memories of that dungeon place, but...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, keep in mind, we don't have a good sense for, we don't have a good feeling for that dungeon place because Subaru was confined there when Garfield thought he was an apostle of Satella.
Well,
So
I know that.
yeah,
I'm
no, I get it.
saying that there aren't good memories in that place.
I understand what you're
It's a
saying.
very visceral
Yeah.
reaction.
But I do think that is supposed to be a good place if you are an apostle of Echidna.
I mean, I don't know.
Mhm.
It's pretty. It's a dungeon.
Actually, no. That does make sense. That's actually Echidna's dead. I keep forgetting. Echidna's dead. So the only piece of Echidna that's still alive is in Ryuzu. Ryuzu explained that. So that would make sense why Beatrice would send Subaru to Echidna, or the last remaining piece of Echidna, which is that dungeon.
Mm-hmm.
Fair
But
enough.
I think it has something to do with that.
Okay,
Because I
that
think-
could explain that teleporting then.
Because I think last episode, was it last episode where we got the stuff on Ryuzu and how she's related to Echidna and all of that? I don't remember. But yeah, whatever
was, yeah.
episode that happened.
Mm-hmm.
We were told this was an experiment to like try and make Echidna live forever, and it failed. But Ryuzu didn't go into detail on how it failed or how successful, like how if it was partially successful. We don't know if any of Echidna's spirit was actually transferred to Ryuzu. We just know that it wasn't that Ryuzu wasn't wholly transplanted by Echidna.
Right.
Yeah.
We just know it was
So-
a failure. That's all we know.
Yes.
And that may be how Echidna keeps appearing in Subaru's consciousness when he goes into the temple in the sanctuary.
We should probably get back to the kid, the girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So he's he doesn't respond. He gets teleported into the dungeon place, and he's back in the sanctuary, and snow is falling once again. And this time it's implied that no time has passed, or that practically no time has passed. And he wonders how much of this Echidna foresaw. He returns to the the trial temple thing, and he finds Amelia. And
Or does he?
yeah, Amelia's not acting right, and she's
Something very
got a
creepy.
terrible look in her eye. I mean, if there's one thing, as confusing as this episode was, if there's one thing that I will give this episode, it is the bits with Amelia. They drove them home so fucking well. They were so creepy.
Yeah.
The creepy doll music in the background.
Yeah.
The fact that she's just so nice and sweet and everything is great, and don't mind that your, eye is all missing.
Yeah.
And you're all bloodied up, and I love you, Subaru.
Yeah,
I
I
love the
love you,
same
Subaru.
words that the witch was whispering to him in the
Yeah.
last episode.
Yep.
So
Hmm.
I have a prediction about that if you guys want to hear it.
Yes, tell us.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
So when Satella showed her face, was it last episode or the last couple episodes?
Yeah.
I noticed
Last one.
the one thing that was different about that life was that was the first life Subaru didn't wake Amelia up and comfort her. So I'm thinking if Subaru isn't there to comfort her and wake her up, Satella takes over. I think Amelia was Satella in that last arc. So I'm thinking while he was out, so he woke her up this life, that's true. But I'm thinking while he was out trying to save the mansion, Amelia tried the trial again. And now she's turning into Satella again because Subaru wasn't there to be by her side.
The thing about that prediction, because I was kind of in a similar place, the only flaw that I see is that when the thing happened, where the witch was doing all the aishtarus and all that shit, when you look at her outfit, the witch there is wearing a different outfit than Amelia's. And
Magic.
Yeah,
I
magic
mean,
is
sure,
a
that
thing.
is fair. That is fair. But the show doesn't just give you details to just give you details.
That's
Well,
true.
I feel like,
so-
but I feel like it's also entirely possible. The reason why I kind of like this prediction, right, is that I feel like Satella may have learned. She's like, oh, wait, he doesn't like he doesn't like me. He likes Amelia, but Amelia and I are one and the same. So rather than just coming right out and being like, yeah, I'm Satella, I'm the witch, maybe if I just like keep going by the name Amelia and pretend that I'm the same person as Amelia, then maybe then he'll reciprocate my love.
That is terrifyingly wholesome.
Yeah, it's pretty scary.
I mean, he's just not into giant pools of shadow. Like,
Clearly.
I mean,
Yeah, that's the
I don't
problem.
understand that, but like,
Yeah,
who
so that,
wouldn't
I
be
guess,
attracted to a giant pool of shadow?
made me unsure if, like, it was a different body or if, like, the witch, because I'm very inclined to agree. I think the witch is taken over, but because they added that little detail, I was like, what did the witch do with Amelia? Or did she take her over and time has passed since she took her over and she's, like, transforming? Because I'm not talking about the cloak. Like, I was looking under the cloak at the outfit she was wearing, and I was like, "That's not Amelia's outfit." Like, I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know.
Well, I think we're seeing the last episode we saw fully transformed. Amelia has now become the witch. There is no Amelia anymore. If ever there was an Amelia, she's gone. It is now fully Satella. And I think
If
this
yeah,
version is part way in between.
and I do think, like, it would totally make sense for this to be the witch. The only fucking thing that makes me think that this could possibly still be Amelia, but, like, with other things going on, is when Rosewall says in a few scenes later some shit about how he's making it snow so that Amelia will feel this and that, and I'm like, "Wait, is
I
Rosewall doing
mean,
something to Amelia?"
I
You know
feel
what I'm
like,
talking
but
about?
Well,
I mean,
yeah,
but I
but
also feel like he could be spurring Amelia into a situation where she falls prey to the witch.
That's fair. That's also
yep,
fair. Yeah, that's an interpretation
that's how I
for sure.
interpreted that.
Yeah.
Okay, okay, that makes sense.
Well,
So,
so Roswell, I feel like, is a completely different conversation in and of itself. Because I
Yeah.
remember when that scene started, I was like, oh shit, Roswell's a bad guy.
hmm.
But by the end of the scene, I'm like, okay, no, he's a good guy.
Rose,
Yeah. So,
I think
but
he's a
before
good guy
we,
or a bad guy
Yeah.
necessarily.
yeah, before
Go on,
before
Brian.
we get into Rosewall though, I wanted to, since you just, watched just binged the last 4 episodes, I wanted to hear, like, I guess your reaction from when, like, Satella showed up, like in that whole scene.
I I was typing to you in all caps when that scene happened.
Mhm.
Yeah, no, when Satella showed up, I was just like, "Ooh, we finally get to see Satella. I'm really curious what she looks like." And I was really fixated on her appearance until she spoke right directly in my ear. And I was like, "Oh, I hate it. I hate it. Get it." I almost threw my headphones off.
Oh, yeah.
And then the audio was doing its own goddamn thing. Sometimes she was panned right, sometimes she was panned left.
Well,
She
actually,
was
you don't get the full experience on headphones.
No.
You should come to my studio and listen to what that scene sounds like.
I don't want to.
God.
Because like I even commented on it when that episode happened, because what you were hearing, that like dialogue panned left and right, that's what out of phase audio sounds like.
That
And
makes
it's
sense. That makes
really,
sense.
really disconcerting, which is
Oh
why,
yeah,
of
believe
course,
me.
they did it.
Yeah.
um,
So
yeah.
yeah, that was my reaction to Satella. It was just like, "Oh, I'm so excited! I'm terrified!"
Yep.
She
Yeah.
has that effect, it seems.
So
Yeah, and then when Subaru woke up and then saw Amelia's face and recognized Satella, and then he was scared of Amelia, I thought that was a really powerful scene.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then I remember thinking to myself, like, "Oh, you better wake her up, because I think you not waking her up is what causes that." And then he wakes her
Yeah.
up, but he's all terrified of her.
Yeah.
And I thought that was cute. Well,
Yeah,
sad.
I've always wanted an excuse to like do out of phase audio stuff in a mix. but I never get to because I'm never doing horror things.
Fair.
But yeah, anyways, yeah, because I remember when that scene happened, I was just like, holy shit. But yeah,
I think
oh, go ahead.
Sorry, last thing before we get to Roswell. I think there's one scene here with Subaru and Garf, who
Yes.
he comes out of the temple having just met creepy, totally not the Witch of Envy, Amelia, and he says something I think very important. He says, like, she said that she loved me, and Garf's like, what do you think this time is this for romance? What is about, man? And he says, no. Like there's any chance she'd ever say that.
Yeah.
She's so shy.
Yeah. Is Subaru, yeah, so Subaru leaves the temple. Also, Gamble in the chat, I'm with you there about I did not like that Satella scene. Like that's one of those scenes where it's like, wow, I hate that in the best possible way.
Yeah.
Like, I hate it because it's so good, and it made me feel really, really terrible, which is exactly what it was supposed to do.
Yep.
Nope.
God, but yeah.
But yeah, so so Subaru leaves the temple thing, and Garfield is angry with Subaru, asking where Amelia is. Subaru is upset about Amelia's change. And he's saying that somebody pushed her to rely on him because Amelia would never fall all over him like that, and she'd never outright tell him that she loved him. And, like, on the one hand, like, I feel like he's right in that, like, at this current point in time, yeah, he was not talking to Amelia. That was not the Amelia he knew. But at the same time, like, the way he words it is so sad in that, like, he's basically like, yeah, she'd never say that. And I'm just like, well, okay, never say never, Subaru. Like, there's clearly something there. If you just keep, developing it, keep working on it, then maybe one day.
I think what he means is, like, she would never say it in that way because she was just right on the nose with it. And remember, especially with the Japanese language, admitting, confessing and admitting love, since she's so shy and she's so, sometimes a little tsundere, I feel like Subaru's ideal love confession from Amelia would be something very subtle.
It's definitely not the ideal love confession from Amelia by any means. No,
so I think that's what he means by she's never gonna say that. I think he just meant she's never gonna attack that situation like that before.
I don't think so.
Really?
Because literally in the last episode, he has that conversation with her where she's like, "Oh man, I really wish Puck were here," and he says like, "I'm always gonna be secondary to Puck, aren't I?" So
he kind of he says that jokingly, but.
I know he kind of doesn't. He's sort of like, it's kind of this little offhanded comment. So I feel like, he's in this place right now where, like, I think he meant what he said. I don't think he was just simply talking about, like, oh, Amelia would never say that to me in this way. I think he's like, no, like, Amelia doesn't love me. She wouldn't say that. She'd never say that. And that's what I find heartbreaking, because I think that there's absolutely potential there for her to get to that place, and Subaru's already, I mean, granted, some terrible things have happened, so I very much understand him being like in this dark place and like being like, oh no, everything's horrible and despair and nothing's going my way and and blah 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 blah. But like, I very much was like, oh, Subaru, like, no.
Let's hope Subaru's wrong, I guess.
Yeah.
I think this is very much like, this is kind of like, because Subaru is he's in a different place. He's like, not to bring up SAO again, he's like the anti-Kirito.
Oh my god.
It's like, he understands, like, he's seen, master swordsman jump 300 feet in the air and slice a whale in half. He's seen spirits shoot magic at each other and blow up, lots of things. And he's just Subaru.
Mhm.
He can make some smoke and yell at people, and that's about
Really
all
good at
he's
yelling at
for.
people.
He's gotten pretty good at yelling at people, but
Yep.
but he sees himself as, and not entirely unwarranted, right? But he sees himself as not deserving of Emilia's affections when he feels very worthless, right? Especially in this moment, right? He keeps trying over and over and over to fix things, and things just keep getting worse and more confusing, and he just doesn't know what to do. And this is sort of like the nadir of that. I think we're getting close to the refusal of the call kind of phase of the hero's journey, if we're gonna go Greek with this. But it's like his whole thing has been, I keep dying, I'm gonna keep, literally last episode he was like, I'm gonna keep trying, no matter if I don't gain a whole lot, I'm gonna try and get as much information out of this as I can, and I'm gonna keep trying until I succeed. And here he's like, I'm not worthy, I don't know what I'm doing, and I can't. Can I even help her? Right? Am I truly worthless? Is like, I'm not deserving of her love, is basically what he's saying here, I think.
Yeah.
And that's it's not a great spot for him right now.
Yeah.
This is a low, I think, even next to the creepy witch stuff that happened in the last episode.
Yeah. So Garfield thinks that Emilia is the one that's making it snow, but Subaru has other ideas, and so he goes to confront Rosewall. And then, that's when we get into this Rosewall scene here. So Subaru asks Rosewall if he's the one making it snow, and Rosewall asks Subaru if he heard that from him. And then he pretty much confirms that he's the one making the snow. Garfield gets upset. Rom moves to protect Rosewall, and Rosewall stabs his arm through both Rom and Garfield, killing them both.
God.
And then he says, "Now in accordance with my vow, shall we talk?" And he claims that they were interfering with his discussion with Subaru, and that if he hadn't gone through Ram, he wouldn't have been able to take out Garfield.
Which, I mean, it further cements in my mind that he just sees his two main characters, or like one at this point, as completely disposable.
I don't. I think he loves them, and I'll go into why I think that.
Yeah, I'm with Annika. And I know I definitely think he's fucking insane. But that's a separate thing. Well, and that being said, I definitely think that there maybe is a little bit of like there is some water to what you're saying, though, Forrest. So where am I notes wise? So Subaru gets angry, but then Rosewall alludes to things happening over and over again. Subaru's surprised. He's like, whoa, you're kind of coming real close to like landing on my return by death thing. To which Rosewall basically outright confirms it. He says, very well, since you do not understand, I will explain it to you as if I do. Which implies that there are things here that Rosewall doesn't really understand all that well.
Well, he does a couple of times in this conversation. He has things where he'll say, oh, okay, so you already know that information that I'm telling you, so I'm just going to skip ahead.
Yeah.
Right, like
so,
he's using Subaru's dialogue to sort of figure out what Subaru has, like, we know that he's figured out about the respawning thing. He doesn't exactly know how it happens, but he's figured out that is what is happening. So much so that he's based his entire strategy on this. Right, which I think is probably what you're going to get to with him actually caring for Rom in this instance. But
keep going,
get to that.
Yeah. So, Rosewall outright confirms that he knows about Return by Death, and he reveals that he has a gospel, just like Beatrice. He says he's envious of Beatrice since he will not be able to fulfill his greatest wish. He can't say what that wish is, though, due to the vow he's made, because of course. Rosewall says everything he does is in accordance with trying to fulfill his wish. And he also confirms that he's the one making the snow and that he's doing it specifically to isolate Emilia. He said Garfield would condemn her and the villagers are ill-prepared for the snow, so Emilia would blame herself and fall into despair, forcing her to rely on Subaru.
Yes.
And Subaru seems to think that Rosewall blocked his letter to Emilia because back in the conversation that Subaru had with not Emilia, like, he was like, oh, but I sent you a letter, and Emilia was like, what letter? So, but even though he confronts Rosewall about it, Rosewall doesn't seem to know anything about a letter.
So we still don't know who took the letter.
Right. However, Rosewall realizes this run ends in a bad end. And for some reason just decides to beat the crap out of Subaru. I think maybe that was to, like, get him to, like, submit and die rather than, like, trying to run and continue to save other people or something.
I think, doesn't he say, like, isn't this enough or something? Aren't you, like, because I think Rosewall's working on incomplete information here, right? He knows Subaru can respawn or, like, reset time, but he doesn't know how that mechanic works. He doesn't know that it's returned by death, right? So I don't think he's not willing to kill Subaru because he doesn't know that killing Subaru would work.
I think he does know
Maybe he thinks Subaru has to kill himself.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he does know it's triggered by death.
Yeah.
Because he says that later on in the episode where he's just all like, unlike you, if I die, I stay here.
Yeah. So
Okay,
I think he does know about that.
He knows about, but I don't think he knows how. I think that's why he doesn't kill him. It's because he's afraid if he kills him, then it's not gonna work. Maybe not.
I don't know, but yeah. So, So, anyways, yeah. But Rosewall does specifically say that he is unable to outright kill him. Doesn't really give a reason why, though. Subaru tells Rosewall, though, that planning what you'll do to someone based on the assumption that they'll just start over is insane, which I agree with.
Yeah.
Which is why I very much think that, yeah, like, for better or worse, Rosewall is, like, fucking a crazy person.
Yeah.
Then the Great Rabbit shows up. Subaru and Rosewall move to meet it outside. And then there is this whole exchange between Rosewall and Subaru that I literally wrote it out in its entirety because I thought it was really interesting and really telling. Rosewall says, "You seem to be mistaken about one thing, Subaru. Because you can perhaps you can start over, but I cannot. My present self will end here, but that is fine. Another me, one who is not myself, will be there after you start over. So long as that me fulfills my goal one day, it makes no difference." Subaru responds, "That's not how any normal person thinks." And Rosewall responds, "The day will come when you truly catch up to me. Listen to me, Subaru. There is one thing that is truly, truly the most precious to you. You must get rid of everything but that, and think of nothing but protecting that one most precious thing. By doing that, you can become like me." That is the exchange. And so that's why, on the one hand, I like where you're coming from, Annika, in that, like, yeah, he does care about Rom, like, he does care about his subordinates, because he knows that this particular timeline is already a foregone conclusion, so it doesn't really matter if Rom is dead. On the other hand, what he just said there kind of contradicts that and kind of supports what Forrest is saying, in that there is only one thing that Roswaal cares about and nothing else matters.
That's fair. Yeah. No, I think that's a good observation.
Yeah.
What is
And
that
figuring
thing?
out
But,
what
but we
the
don't
one
know what that
thing
thing
is.
is.
Well, I
and,
mean,
you know,
we know it's his goal. What his goal is, that's
no,
that's
we know he
different.
wants to
Supposedly
kill the
says it's to get
dragon.
Amelia on the throne.
well, I
but-
mean,
Well, that's,
he wants to
I
put
think a
Amelia
means
on
to
the
an
throne.
end.
He wants to kill the dragon. We know these things,
Yeah.
but why?
Right.
Right.
I mean,
so okay,
these
so if,
these things. I mean, like, we can say that that's his goal, but like, I feel like even those things are a means to an end.
Yeah, that's why I said supposedly. Mhm.
Yeah,
That's true.
like what he really wants out of that, we still don't know.
Mm-hmm.
What's interesting is I think what Roswaal, my interpretation of what Roswaal meant when he said, like, you will become like me, is I think he meant power or influence, at least. Like, you know, Subaru, you have the potential to be as a great a leader, a great as, you know, up here with me. I see the resolve in your eyes, but, you know, in order to do that, you need something, you need a goal, you need something to work towards and, you know, fight for, like you have been doing. And I think that coincides with the show's opening, because every time you see him running towards the screen in the opening, the text on the thing says, "I do not care how many times I die. If it's to save you, I'll die as many times as it takes."
Mm-hmm.
So I think that that's precious something to Subaru as Amelia.
Oh yeah,
Mhm.
for sure.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I had a, like, after watching that scene, I had a galaxy brain theory. It's
Oh, yeah?
probably just crazy, stupid, and out there, but I was like, so what if Roswaal is Subaru from the future?
I don't think so. I understand where you're coming from, but I don't actually genuinely think so.
I think that that's highly unlikely as well, but I was just like, but what if, though?
But what if?
Well,
That's not galaxy brain. That's just silly bitch brain.
silly brain. Well, okay. What if he's not actually? All right, let's entertain this for a second. Hang on. What if it's not actually Subaru from the future or whatever? But what if he is what Subaru, or he was before what Subaru is now?
Oh.
Is it possible that
He got out of the
he
death
was
loop
pulled in
himself?
from another world by the witch? Because the witch
Yeah.
wanted to love him, and he did this respawning thing over and over. Maybe that's how he was. Because so
Able
far
to
he's like the
know.
only one who's figured this out. Maybe that's why he knew about it, and he has like lost the witch's favor or something. Like he's left that loop essentially. He's lost that power, but he's gained a lot in the process, right? He's a pretty powerful, you know, head of a big manor.
That's a
cool magic
I like
powers.
this idea.
Yeah, I like that.
I like this
That's
idea a
cool.
lot. But yeah, so then Roswell's eaten by the great rabbit.
Yep.
So
Subaru
that was
escapes.
my prediction on why he killed Rom and Garfield so quickly, because it's just like, all right, the Great Rabbit is coming. We only have 30 seconds. I have a lot I need to tell you, Subaru, and Rom and Garfield are just going to slow that down. Let's kill them now because this life doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was just the most fastest, most proficient way to get about time. Time efficiency.
Yeah.
He's
Kill people.
brutally efficient. You can't.
Yeah.
You gotta give
Brutally
him that.
efficient. Yeah. But yeah, oh my god, Forrest, I'm really resonating with that theory.
Yeah. I
That's
like
fun.
that theory
That's
a
really
lot.
fun. Because he definitely has some positive thoughts about at least one of the witches. Because at one point, someone I think called like a kid in a wicked or something, and he was like, "Well, I wouldn't say that." And it was like, "Huh?"
Yeah.
Like he knows some stuff with witches. So.
Actually, no, I'll do this at the end of the podcast.
If it's Echidna that was okay.
Yeah. So Roswaal is eaten by the great rabbit, and Subaru escapes back to the temple thing. And Amelia is there waiting. And he rests his head in her lap, while he
Yep.
bleeds out from his wounds. And Amelia's just completely unfazed by it all. Carries on as if
Unfazed, yep.
nothing is happening.
Nothing's wrong.
It was only partially chewed up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he only had a few hundred holes scattered on his body.
And just like fucking liters of blood leaving his body a minute. I will say, like, yeah, for as confusing as this episode was, this final scene really, like, both of the scenes with Amelia hit home really, really hard. But this scene, I think, in particular, hit really hard. The timing of everything were just like, oh, fuck. Because the moment Subaru dies, Amelia leans down to kiss him. And then the title of the episode flashes on the screen, The Taste of Death.
Taste of Death.
They did this last episode. This is like, they keep dropping mics. I don't know.
I know! That is a great way to put it, Forrest.
Yeah. Like, it's, yeah, just the timing of that ending where it's just like, oh, fuck. And now the title makes sense. Like, that wasn't metaphorical. That was literal.
Yeah. God, it's good.
Tasted death.
Gross.
Yeah. And I really like how detailed we went in on some of those theories today, because like I think next week's episode is going to be the first time where like I genuinely don't know what to expect, because obviously most of the time it's like I have a general idea of maybe some theories of what'll happen, but not an entire clue by any means. But God, what could possibly, how, like I'm very lost, but I'm excitedly lost. It's a good lost.
Yeah. Well, they gotta resolve this somehow. We gotta end on something more of a high note, right?
I have a feeling next week's episode has potential to be one of the best fucking episodes if it has to
It's
follow
going
this
to
and
explain
ReZero.
everything.
I mean, even if it doesn't explain everything, it's at least gonna make us hype, because like it always does. ReZero has always done a good job at like meeting expectations or fucking blowing them out of the water. It's never under-delivered terribly. Like if it like kind of simpers a little bit, it's never like in a crazy amount that makes me lose faith in the show. So I hope I'm not going to eat these words next week, but I think next week will be phenomenal.
I certainly hope so. Because, yeah, like, even in this episode with stuff where I was like, okay, I'm kind of really confused. I kind of really wish you'd explain these things. Even if there were points where I was like, oh, man, like, I'm kind of not digging this particular thing at the moment, and I'm kind of a little frustrated. Like, there were also other moments where I was just like, fuck. Like, they knocked that out of the park. Like, that final scene.
Yeah.
Mic drop.
Yeah.
It's good. It's good shit.
So, yeah. But anyways, that brings us to the end of the episode. So I guess the last thing to do, which I mean, I know we've already said, like, wow, what the hell is going to happen? Like, does anybody have any predictions for what's going to happen next?
I sincerely don't.
So I had a question, but it doesn't really pertain to this episode. It's actually last episode. Ryuzu refers to Subaru as the Apostle of Greed, and basically said that gives him the ability to control the Ryuzu clones, which she says also is something that Garf can do, and please don't tell. And he says, please don't tell him. But I'm curious. The Apostle of Greed is also what they call Regulus, isn't it?
I'm not sure.
The white-haired boy in episode 1 who nearly killed Krush.
Oh.
Was that there's the Archbishop and there's
the Archbishop.
Beetlejuice like the Archbishop of Sloth or whatever, right?
Yeah, but don't they also call him an apostle? Don't they also call them apostles? I thought.
Well, I think an Archbishop would be higher up on the food chain.
So
like
I guess
Archbishop would be like in charge of that faction of the cult, right? And then an
I'm just
apostle
curious now that we know who the Witch of Greed is, like what that says about the Archbishops. Like, is the Witches cult a bad group? I mean, clearly they are. Why? So I'm curious if that's going to come into play, because now that he's so close to the Witch of Greed, is that going to affect his relationship with the Archbishop of Greed?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Well, it seems like, at least from Echidna's description of the witches, right, that she spins it as a very like misunderstood kind of like, oh, they were
Yeah.
really trying to do good, and it didn't really, like, the world didn't understand them kind of thing, right?
Yeah,
And
that's
then,
true.
well, obviously, Witch of Envy, evil, she ate everyone. That's, that was bad. That was bad. Nobody likes that. But again, Echidna would probably think that, given that she was one of the witches eaten by her. So,
So, Brian, you know my weakness for white-haired pretty boys. So I'm
Yes,
sure
I do.
I'm sure this could be just me spitballing, but I'm just gonna say I think they introduced that character in particular in episode 1 for a reason. So I'm really curious why Subaru's getting all buddy-buddy with the Witch of Greed, and the first Archbishop they introduced was the Archbishop of Greed.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, no, that's a
we'll have to
good.
see.
We'll have to see.
Yeah. I also genuinely have no idea where it's going to go from here. Like, I don't know what Subaru's next move is after this, because this has been a really dark timeline.
Yes.
Well, he now knows that the village isn't safe because he now knows about Melee? Is that her name?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Basically the evil Pokemon trainer.
Yes.
Of course.
Yeah, but he also knows that he has time before he has to deal with the mansion.
Right.
So
the time
now
takes her to open all the doors.
Yeah, and he also now knows that leaving Amelia behind is maybe not the best idea.
Right.
So, yeah, so there's definitely things to play on there. But yeah, Forrest, any predictions?
In honor of Ian, I'm gonna go with rocks fall, everyone dies.
That's a good theory. That's a good theory.
Sorry, had to do it.
Gotcha. All right.
Honestly,
and,
I have no idea.
Fair. And last but not least, Cole, what do you think is going to happen?
Honestly, same, Cole.
No way.
Same.
That is an astute observation,
I agree.
Cole.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Didn't even think of that.
Crickets.
Crazy.
Wow. Cole is
Wow.
really perspective this
Cole,
episode.
man,
I honestly
yeah,
really appreciated his input.
Yeah, I know. Like, I really appreciated Cole's input a lot too. Like,
of course,
he had so much valuable things to say, and he just really contributed to the conversation.
Yes,
and
the show
really made sure
because he was indeed here.
Yes, because he was indeed here. Absolutely. So, I think
it's about
that
as
brings
much I'd expect him to contribute.
Damn. Roasted.
Damn.
All right, that takes the cake.
I'm glad at least it's not only me getting roasted. So, I guess, that pretty much brings an end to the podcast. I think we've podcasted. I think it's time to tell all the people where they can find us. I'm Brian. I'm at Hubbard Audio on Twitter and also on Discord. I am in the KRWBY Productions Discord server, so you can find me there as well. Forrest, where can they find you?
Right here on this here podcast next week at our usual time, probably on Mondays.
Yep, Monday at 5 p.m. Pacific. Katie, where can they find you?
You can find me on Twitter at KaniDayOfficial, KaniDay Official. You can also find me, of course, on KRWBY Productions, on Dr. Crafty on YouTube, where I'm a writer and an actress. You can also find me at the Weird Flex, but okay podcast that I host with Jordan Jax Blade Downs. That's on iTunes and SoundCloud. And you can follow us on Twitter at WeirdFlexPod, and we have a Patreon. Woo! You can also, of course, find us, KRWBY Productions, tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Central and 7 Eastern, doing a panel in the official Discord for Rooster Teeth gaming community. It's real neat. It's real cool. You should go do that.
Yeah, be sure to tune into that.
Those are all my pluggy boys.
Yeah, Annika, where can they find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Nyoka-chan. And I don't do much there, but I lurk. I'm a good lurker, so you can follow me for lurky businesses.
It's true.
Hell yeah. And Cole, where can they find you?
Cole,
Cool.
that was
Everybody go
offensive.
follow Cole. All
Go
right.
follow Cole.
All right. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Once again, be sure to tune into the panel tomorrow in the Rooster Teeth gaming community server. It should be a lot of fun. Can't wait to hear what you and Tina and Steven talk about.
Heck yeah.
But yeah, next week we'll be back at our regular time on Monday, 5 p.m. Pacific, talking about ReZero Season 2, Episode 12. But until then, it's been fun, and we'll see you later. Bye!
Bye!